Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynic Alex, and today we're talking about, is Marvel Future Fight sexist? This topic was inspired by one of the commenters, one of the bros, one of the fans, one of you guys. And before we take a serious look at this obviously not joke topic, I just want to put a warning out there for everybody watching. This may outrage you, this may upset you. So everybody out there, activate your trap cards, arm your battlements, set your scanners and phasers to Zarna, because this shit's about to get heavy. Let's jump right into it, guys. In the game, we have male and female characters. We even have characters who can gender bend and go from male to female via uniform. However, is Marvel Future Fight a sexist game? Judging by the numbers, looking at the breakdown by class, we can see that males do represent more and the majority of characters in the game. Out of 106 playable characters, 70 of them, or 66%, are male. That leaves only 34% of them to be female. So right off the bat, guys, yes, Marvel Future Fight is super fucking racist. However, you have to understand where Marvel Future Fight comes from. It's a comic book based game. This is a Marvel game. It's drawing all of its characters and inspiration, aside from one, from the comic books. And in the comic books and in comics in general, until recently, females haven't had that much representation. And even when they've had their representation, their due time in the spotlight, it has been met with some backlash and some, not Crossbones related, and some, discomfort by fans who feel like it's diversity for the sake of just being colorful and different and unique and not necessarily fitting with the storylines and stuff like that. So Marvel is still struggling to find a healthy balance between diversity of characters, not only in sex, but we're focusing on the male and female here, but also in other aspects. But let's take a deeper look, guys. By combat class, it's the most undiverse. This is where you see the biggest gap between male and female characters. Males make up 82% of all combat, and female make up just 18%. For the other three classes, it's a lot closer in parity. Females make up 25% of the blast class, 56% of the speed class, and 42% of the universal class. Now, this eagle-eyed commenter also mentioned that speed characters are the easiest to get in the game, and I wanted to dispute that point before we go any further. Let's take a look at speed characters and see how many of them are unfarmable, that you can't just go and get from a dimension rift or story missions or special missions. We have Misty Knight, only get her from bioselectors. You have Gwenpool, only get her as a shifter. You have Sin, only get her from bioselectors. You have Silk, only get her from bioselectors. You have Spider-Gwen, you can only get her from sexist bioselectors. You have Miles Morales, wait, he's not a she, sorry. Assumed his gender. My bad. You have Black Cat. You can only get from bioselectors. And then we have the rest. So the rest of them you can get through traditional means, farming, honor tokens, chaos tokens, but that's a pretty decent number of speed characters, female only speed characters, who cannot be obtained through traditional farming means. And the same pretty much goes for the rest of them on the list in the different classes. I mean, looking at the speed class, Jessica Jones, only bioselectors. A-Force, She-Hulk, that's not even bioselectors. You just gotta battle world or daily selectors, or, I mean, if you get lucky, or that's it. Nebula, you gotta get her from a rift. Sif, you can get her from story missions, sure. White Tiger, special missions. Camilla Khan, oh no, she's exclusive. Bioselectors. So more than half of the existing combat characters in that are female in the game cannot be gotten from traditional means. Not to mention all 3 of the A-Force members, She-Hulk, Sister Grimm or Nico, and Singularity, they are the closest to being true paywall characters because you can't get their bios through selectors. You have to get them from Battle World or from special events, and then use rank up tickets or use the daily chests that you get for logging in and playing the game for a certain amount of time. In the store, they're the free ones that everybody gets, these hero chests. So all in all, I would say that the exclusivity argument is pretty baloney. Not to mention that there are a lot of very strong universal female characters that you can't get again through traditional means, aside from bioselectors like Jane Foster, Angela, the Black Order characters. Clea is only a shifter. And also, most recently, Medusa. So, all in all, I would say that a lot of the female characters in the game are very premium. We have paywall-only female characters, and there's not a lot of farmable female characters. Most of the characters in the game that are farmable are actually male. That also makes sense because the majority of the characters in the game are male. But even in something like the Black Order, it obviously comes directly from the comics, but you have 2 females in a cast of 6, so that's right there a pretty decent representation. It's, you know, as close as you're going to get to 50% without being at 50%. Not to mention the fact that, and I wanted to bring this up earlier, but I didn't have the opportunity to, Sharon Rogers. I want to focus a little bit on Sharon Rogers for a couple of reasons. So if you guys are not familiar with Sharon Rogers is the brainchild, the creation of Netmarble to celebrate Captain America's 75th anniversary. Now, a bunch of different Marvel games were included in this event, and you guys can check out what they all did because they all did something different. But Netmarble was the only one, the only company that actually introduced a female character to celebrate a male character's 75th anniversary. So you got to see the genius, for one, behind that, and for two, you have to see that as a way of trying to balance the stakes here between male and female. They could have just made some kind of Captain America clone like all the other games did. Now, kudos to their development team for being creative about something, but still, Sharon Rogers does not just represent an attempt at rebalancing the diversity. Sharon Rogers was the first character in the game that we got that was truly overpowered. That was just like, wow, this is kind of easy now. She was the only character in the game at the time who could on demand summon an immunity skill that also buffed the character. We had never seen a skill with as much text as Javelin Blast. Look at all these fucking words. We had never seen this before. Now this is a pretty commonplace ability, whether it, you know, triggers from true damage accumulated or dodged or dealt or whatever. But she introduced brand new mechanics. You know, at the time when she was released and for a long time afterwards, she was considered the top character in the game. You don't start with Loki anymore. You start with Sharon Rogers. She literally changed the new player guide. And not to mention the one who was at the top of that list before, Loki, has the ability to change into a female character. And let's be honest, the female character looks way sexier than the male character. Look at those eyes, bro. Look at those eyes. The nose is kind of freaky though. So anyways, guys, I wanted to bring the topic of sexism to your attention, not only because it proves that I read all of your decrepit, ridiculous comments, but also because I thought it would be a little fun kind of thought experiment to see really just how sexist Netmarble is. You can go into it a little bit more and you can see the breakdown of good male characters versus good female characters in Future Fight, but I don't think it really matters. At the end of the day, I think that males and females are pretty well represented in this game, both as good characters and as bad characters. Some of the worst characters in the game used to be female, and now some of the worst characters in the game are male but maybe look female. So there is no or very little inherent sexism in this game. I think that Netmarble has done a great job of trying to balance the stakes, and I think that they will continue to push you both good and strong and relevant to the meta male characters and female characters. They do look good, but there's no intentional eye candy. There's no intentional, like, just for the looks of it. They even nerfed Satana's look with that red piece to her suit to make her more family friendly, guys. And also probably to make her less of a sex object or sexually appealing character. Obviously, a lot of this stuff is tongue-in-cheek, guys, so don't take it too terribly seriously. But I would like to know your thoughts on this, whether you think the game deserves more female characters or if you think that they've done enough to push the idea of female characters in this game. We've had female-only patches. We've had like a girls' appreciation update. So I want to know what you guys think, your thoughts, your feelings on it. And of course, guys, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.